Okay, so here is a video to help you with today's practice. I'm sorry, not practice. It actually starts another subject called probability. And then, keep working on your review. I have put some answers in the stream, so make sure you're checking answers. I think I have number 1 through 17. So check those. If you don't know how I got those answers, please send me a question to remind, or send me a question on 0365. There's so much in Google Classroom email that I just can't look through there. So make sure you're asking me a question on Remind, or either my jamie.williams@lpsb.org, and I'll be happy to answer. Okay, so let's go ahead. Again, your study guide or review, whatever you want to call it, is due Friday. And go to Google Classroom, because that's where the answers are to what I'm doing. For your review or study guide. And then again, we have a test Friday. Okay, so sliding on down. Okay, so here's what we're learning today. Let me read through it and kind of talk you through it. The name of the subject is Events and Outcomes. An experiment, a trial that can be repeated, such as shooting a basketball, flipping a coin, etc. And if you've ever studied probability or statistics, you might remember mean, median, and mode. But whatever you do, you can do many times over and over again to see that the results are different or the same. Outcome, excuse me, the result of one try of an experiment. So if you flip a coin, if you shoot a basketball, you either make it or don't. So flipping a coin that lands on heads, that is one outcome. A sample space, the set of all possible outcomes of an experiment. In other words, what can happen before you actually do it? So if you're shooting a basketball, you can either make it or not make it. But in rolling a dice, 6-sided die, you can get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. So those are the sample spaces. So in other words, you haven't done it yet, but that's what could happen and all the things that could happen. Okay, next, let's scroll up. An event, a list or set of outcomes. The event of rolling an even number on a die could be 2, 4, or 6. So those are all, this is one event. Favorable outcomes. Any outcome in the event whose probability you want. In other words, on a test, when I say I want this, that's the favorable outcomes I'm looking for. Here's an example. What if you had these letters in a bag, and it's enough letters and the right letters to spell out Walker High School? Let's say you had them in a bag. What lists the favorable outcomes for choosing a vowel, okay, out of those letters? So the favorable outcomes would be A, E, I, O, and O, because there are 2 O's. Now notice there's no U. That's because there's no U in this list of letters. Okay, so now let's do some of these. Identify outcomes. A letter from let me pull this down just a little bit. Okay, a letter from the word basketball is chosen at random. List the possible outcomes. Okay, it is your choice what I'm fixing to do, but I'm going to list, let me in caps, B, okay, A, B, E. Do you notice what I'm doing? I'm listing the outcomes, but I'm listing them in alphabetical order. And again, it doesn't matter. There are 2 A's, 2 B's. You could just list the word basketball in that order. So let me, okay, keep listing. I got both the A's, both the B's, 1 E, and then next would be L's. And then I see an S. Oh, excuse me, I forgot the K. Put that here. And then T. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Let's see, 3, 6, 9, 10, 1, 2. Okay, I think I have them all. Okay, so now list the favorable outcomes for choosing a K. And you notice there's only 1 K in there. And let me circle this because it says list. So all the favorable outcomes for choosing a K, you have to list. So I'm going to actually list one item, one outcome, excuse me. that's all of that. Not choosing B. So I'm going to list all the outcomes of not choosing B, which are the two A's. I'm going to skip over the B's. I'm going to put in E. Okay, I'm doing this with my mouse. That's why it's kind of awkward. And keep on going, K, L, L, S, T. Let me put a little more S on that letter S. Okay, comma, 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 comma. Okay, so these are the favorable outcomes for not choosing B. Okay, the favorable outcome for choosing an A or a T or an L. I see two L's and a T, so I'm going to put L, L, and T. Okay, so that's it. It's that simple. Okay, choosing a vowel. Okay, the vowels are A, A, and E. Okay, so that is the final answer for that. Okay, now let's look at the next situation. Okay, we have a spinner. It says the spinner to the left is spun once. List the possible outcomes. Okay, well, I'm going to actually, here are the outcomes right here. So, okay, let's go ahead and write them. 1, comma, 2, comma, 3, comma, 4, comma, 5, comma, 6. It's not gonna let me write. I knew that. Okay, so here we go. 6, 7, 8, 9, comma, 10, comma, 11, and comma, 12. I've ordered me another tablet to write on, so I'm hoping it'll be better. I can't wait for it to get here. It's going to be here in October. Okay, what are the favorable outcomes for spinning an even number? So if we count the even numbers, there's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. So write 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and 12. Okay, there they are. Spinning a number greater than 10, well, that would be pretty simple, 11 and 12. Okay, next. Spinning a number that is at most 5. Okay, at most. That means it's the biggest. At the biggest, the number is 5. So I'm going to go actually backwards. 4, 3, 2, okay, and 1. Oh, and I forgot we got to have the 5. Because at the most means it can be 5 or less. So make sure you understand what that word. The most is 5, and then you go down, you don't go up. Okay, spinning a prime number. Okay, what are the primes? Okay, since this is our last one, I'm going to mark out, I'm going to put a dot over the primes. Okay, a prime, okay, watch my mouth, look over here. The word prime has one syllable. So think of that as only numbers that have 1 in themselves for a factor. So that actually leaves 1 out. Okay, so let me put primes here. Okay, the primes, 1 is left out because 1 does not even have 2 factors. It just has 1. Okay, 2 has 2 factors. So I'm going to list that. Well, actually, I can list over here. Okay, why not list it in my answers? Okay, 3 has 2 factors, 1 in itself. So I'm going to put 3. Okay, 4 has 3 factors. 1 goes in, 2 goes in, and 4 goes in. So we can't list 4. 5, okay, 1 goes in itself, so we're going to list 5. And by the way, let me tell you, this is the second time we've been asked about prime numbers. Way back when they talked about the calendar numbers 1 through 30, the very beginning of school. They've talked about prime numbers. They've talked about perfect squares. They've talked about vowels. They've talked about days of the month. So make sure you're remembering that because it could show up on a test and nobody's going to reteach it to you. Okay, the number 6. 6 has 3 factors. Actually 4 factors. 1, 2, 3, and 6. So 6 is composite, it's not prime. 7, 1 and 7, so we're going to list it. 8 has several factors, 1, 2, 4, and 8. So I'm going to skip it. 9 has 1, 3, and 9, so we're skipping that. 10, 2 and 5, and 1 and 10. 11, okay, 11 has only 2 factors. So, and then 12 has many factors. So we are going to end our list right here. Okay, a month of the year is chosen at random. List the possible outcomes. So I'm gonna type over here. I'm gonna type January, February. I'm just putting the first 3 letters, MAR, APR, and then let me put it over here so I can continue typing. Okay, I'm gonna make it a little smaller. Okay, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, and December. Okay, is that 12, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, we got them all. Choosing a month that starts with the letter A. So I'm going to say A, P, R. August. Okay, that's hopefully pretty easy for you. Okay, choosing a month that starts with the letter J or S. So I'm going to look at my January. June, July, S is September. So and make it smaller. Okay, so we got 4. Again, we're still listing. Do you see the word up there, list? I just covered it up by doing that, but we're still listing. Okay, choosing months with no more than 30 days. Okay, look at the camera. Okay, watch. Using your knuckles. I was taught this in elementary. I'm 58 years old. It still works, but this is knuckles. So watch. When I point to a place on my knuckles, that means if it's on a knuckle, it means it has 31 days. If it's between a knuckle, it has less than 31 days. Okay, so watch. January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August. So these 2 go from knuckle to knuckle. That means 31 days for each. Okay, let me hold it up. January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August. So July and August both have 31 months. Let's get 31 days. August, September, October, November, December. Okay, so that's the 31-day knuckle memory. Okay, whatever. Choosing month with no more than 30 days. So no more than means 28 or 30. We don't have any months with 29 days, well, except leap year, and the rest of them are 31. So let's list. Okay, January, let's list February. Okay, January, February, March, April, May, April and June. April and June, okay? Okay, we got a couple more. Let me make this bigger. Okay, January, February, here are my knuckles. January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, September, November, okay? And that should be it. Okay, now we have something else. Give the number of favorable outcomes for each. Okay, so this is, I'm gonna circle this. It says give the number of, or let me underline it. So we're not listing anymore, kind of like a little break. Spinning green, okay, look at all of these choices for the spinner. The spinner below is spun once. How many possible outcomes are there? Okay, so let's count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we have 8. Okay, so out of 8, what are the possibilities of spinning green? Well, I see a green here and a green here, so I'm gonna say 2. So in other words, we don't have to list green, green. We're gonna say how many of them are there. Green, green, that's 2. Okay, not spinning red. So you count everything but the red. I only see 1 red, so that means there must be 7 colors that are not red. Okay, spinning yellow or blue. Okay, so I see 2 yellows, and I see 1, 2, 3 blues, so that should be 5. We got 5 possibilities. You spin it once, you could land on yellow or blue. Okay, next one. Spinning green and red. Okay, now this is none. Okay, let me explain. Can you ever spin this spinner and land on 2 colors at one time?
Fallon Wilson, please report to the office to check out. Fallon Wilson to check out.
Okay, that is impossible, even if it's on the line between. So never think it's possible. Oh, but it lands on the line in between. If it's on the line, then it's on neither. So this answer is none. Okay, give the number of favorable outcomes for each event. Okay, now over here we have a bag containing 50 lottery balls, 1 through 50. A ball is chosen at random. How many possible outcomes are there? Okay, well, from 1 to 50, there are 50 possibilities. Okay, 50 possibilities. Choosing a number less than 14. Well, if it's less than 14, it's not 14. So think 13 on down, and so that would be 13 possibilities. Okay, choosing a number divisible by 3. Okay, now I told my students in class, think of the numbers in the 3 timetable. I know 3 times 12 is 36. So I'm going to say 3 timetable. All the way up to 3 times 12. There are 12 of them. So there are 12, but there are some more. So I'm going to think it goes up to 36. Okay, now let me make a little distinction here. The 3 timetables go up to 3 times 12, which is 36. But now add 3. 36 plus 3 is 39. That adds 1 more number. 39 plus 3 is 40, 41, 42. That adds 1 more number. 3 plus 42 is 45. And if you add 3 here, you get 48. So that adds 1 more number. Let me see. 12 plus 3, 39. 42, 45, 48. So how many is that all together? Now, if we go any farther, we're going to go over 50. So 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So the answer is 16. Okay, choosing a perfect square. One more time. They expect you to know what a perfect square is. So don't expect on a test that I'm going to say that you're going to say, Miss Williams, what's a perfect square? I can't explain that to you, okay? But over here, I'm going to use a space. I'm going to think in my head, 1 times 1 is 1. 2 times 2 is 4. 3 times 3 is 9. 4 times 4 is 16. And I'm going to continue this till I get up to a number that's bigger than 50, and I'm going to stop. Okay, 5 times 5 is 25. 6 times 6 is 36. 7 times 7 is 49. Let me put my commas here because we don't want all these numbers to run together. And now if we go any further, we're over 50. So let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I'm going to put 7 there for my answer. Choosing a number that it's got to be odd, and it's got to be at least 21. At the least. So the lowest is 21, least lowest. So I'm thinking 21 and up that is odd. So let's count. 21, 23, 25, 27, 29. That's 5. So between 20 and 30, there are 5 odd numbers. Okay, so from 30 to 40, guess how many there are? 5 again. From 40 to 50, guess how many there are? 5 more. So 5 plus 5 plus 5 is 15. Okay? Now, anybody at your house can re-explain this if I've gone too fast, or you can listen to it again. But between 40 and 50, 5 odd numbers. Between 30 and 40, 5 odd numbers. Between 40 and 50, 5 more. So 5 plus 5 plus 5 is 15. Okay, so let's go to the last, I think this is the last one. Okay, John's piggy bank contains this many pennies, this many nickels, this many dimes, this many quarters. If John chooses one coin at random, how many possible outcomes are there? Okay, so we got this many pennies. So if we total all those, we say 12 plus, and go on and on and on. And if you do it correctly, you should get 60. You can trust me or count it up on with a calculator or add them up yourself. Anyway, so out of these 60, how many possibilities of choosing a dime? So I'm going to go back and see how many dimes were there. 23. Okay, now remember, we're still giving the number of, we're not having to list, thank goodness. I would be listing the letter D 23 times if they want us to list it. Thank goodness they don't. Okay, what's the favorable outcomes for choosing a nickel or a penny? So I'm going to see 9 plus 12. 9. And that is 21, I believe. Yes, 21. Okay, what are the possibilities of choosing a silver coin? Now, they don't mean made of silver. Those are very expensive. We just mean the color on the outside is silver color. So I know that pennies are not silver, so I'm going to add up 9 plus 23 plus 16. And if you add that up, you get 48. So all but the pennies. You could have said 60 minus the 12 pennies and still gotten it. Okay, last one. Choosing a coin worth at the most. So the most it can be worth is 10 cents. So out of these, which coins are worth no more than 10 cents? I'm going to add up the dimes, the nickels, and the pennies. So 9 plus 23 plus 12. And that comes to 44. Okay, and that's it.